Hey guys, welcome to another Regalia Chill deck profile, but this time it's brought to you by
Katherine? Lazo.
and she's been playing the infamous Flute deck at our locals that everybody keeps asking when we're on stream. Well, last week we had some other people pilot it, but it's been going through some changes throughout the time, and she was the one that mainly pilots it and works on it. So we're going to have her break it down for us and give us the scoop on what's going on with this very interesting deck.
So I'm going to do this a bit backwards. I'm going to start with my spells and chants. I only play one draw card because it's better for late game. The truth of time. After the seal is broken, you can draw the two cards. Needless to say, if I do need it sooner with that seal broken, I can always flip my Flute. I'll go over that in a minute for those of you who aren't aware of what that does.
And if you guys didn't know the actual effect, it's just draw one when you play it.
When the seal is unleashed, it actually draws a second card for you, which is why I usually play it a bit later. I play one addition. It tends to boost elves. You'll see why it's helpful a bit later, but it allows all my Resonators to block things with flying. Definitely a plus, especially in some matchups that I've been seeing lately. I do play 2 Manifestation of Power. It lets you recover one target Resonator you control and draw a card, or I can destroy target addition. Always comes in handy for Resonator heavy decks or decks that just have that random addition that you just can't get rid of. Rain of Light, those of you who saw some of the matches may have really liked this card. I definitely think it's one of my personal favorites. I can target up to X amount of Resonators, and I rest those my opponent controls and unrest those that I control, which is great. It has quick cast, and it's 1 blue, 1 yellow, X. So whatever I pay for X is that Resonator value I get. I played 2 detachments. The best card against Wolf, in my personal opinion. I always send it to the bottom of the deck. Just takes attacking or blocking Resonator and sends it to the top or bottom of the owner's deck. Up to you where you'd like to send that card. Cost for just 2 blue. Always great. 2 Severing Winds. I'm actually thinking about going up on this card because it's just that great. You can cancel a target spell, I believe it is, that your opponent is playing. You can play it for absolutely free if it's the second card that they've played at least. Otherwise, if you're hard casting, it is 2 green, 2 blank, but when in need, always helpful. Bear Magics, Charlotte's Water Transformation, Quick Cast, and it has Remnant. I only play 2, so it's almost like the value of 4. You can pay it 4/4 Bear. Pretty sure most of you are aware of what that does. Dawn of the Earth. I actually may have to read this card because it has a bunch of text and it's one of the newer ones. I know that I can, if a Resonator would be put into your opponent's field without being played, I can remove it from the game and draw a card. Recover target Resonator I control, and it gains +2/+2 and barrier until the end of the turn, and draw a card. Or I can remove non-magic stone, non-J-ruler cards my opponent controls, as long as it costs 0 or less, and draw a card. Every effect draws a card. There's no reason not to play it, and it's actually one of those greater cards that help you out in that Fox matchup that we've been seeing absolutely everywhere lately.
And I did not know that the Resonators that get thrown into play from outside your hand just instantly go to the remove from play pile at all, so they never get their effects triggered, which is really detrimental for other decks like Fox, because if they try to use up their 2 stones during turn 2 and you have one of these cards in your hand, and what you can do is literally just cast that card in activation of Fox, and then it just gets sent to the remove from play pile, and they don't get any stones or activated ability from their Chimera.
There's also Millennial Bond. So in Millennial Bond, I can either pay the 1 blue, 1 green to cancel target spell chant and draw a card, or I can use it to quick cast one of my treasury items into the field. If I control a water and a wind Resonator, I can do both. Always a wonderful card. For those of you who saw my deck because of the bird I play, we will go over that in a minute. Can't play a deck without Dreams of Flight when you have yellow, Quick Cast, and Remnant. It's Force. 1, you roll the die. your Resonator gets plus X 100 plus X 100 in flying until the end of the turn. X is whatever you roll on that force die. Next, I'm going to show you guys my Resonators. I play Frigg. She's actually more for a late game kind of situation, which I have been seeing a lot lately with a lot of the decks. When the card enters the field, I can put up to 1 target addition, 1 target chant, and 1 target, I believe it's Resonator. No, I'm sorry, a Resonator. And a Resonator. I read that all backwards. From my graveyard into my hand. Like I said, for a late game, this is actually absolutely wonderful. Helps out a bunch, especially since we have that addition in there that helps block the flying Resonators. 2 Charlottes. When she enters the field, she draws you a card. She has natural barrier for X amount of cards in your hand, cost or less. So since she gains the +2/+2, I'm actually thinking about going up on her because she does draw you a card, and the combo I can make with her and Dawn of the Earth, I've recently realized is absolutely wonderful.
And you're playing a deck that literally focuses on drawing cards. So, I mean, she's probably your best win condition for the deck, just by being able to sit on her, and just no one can target her with small spells. They all have to be either through attacking or either not targeting it or just casting something that's probably going to be bigger than a 4 or 5 drop from their hands.
Absolutely, and the fact that, Flute just taps to draw me a card, and I have to say a good chunk of the cards in my deck draw me cards. Charlotte going up to 3 is probably my next step. I also play Will of the Wisp. When she enters the field, she draws me a card. She's merely a 1/1, but the positive note is I can use her to block larger Resonators, and then I just gain their attack for life. Usually I play her more in the grind game, again, closer towards the long run when I need to start gaining life because my opponent has me down that low and hurt. Next is the Glistening Chick, one of my personal favorite cards. What it does is whenever it becomes rested, it lets me rest target Resonator, which needless to say is absolutely broken. I just think it's one of the best things possible. It also goes off when I play Millennial Bond because it is a treasury item.
Yeah,
so
it's a funny interaction.
At the end of my opponent's turn, I can quick cast my Glistening in by just Millennial Bonding. And if you're playing a chant and I already have a blue and a green, it just triggers off both abilities. I draw a card, I get my treasury item for free, and I cancel your chant. There's just no losing with this card. Even when it attacks, it's considered rested. So when you declare attack, you immediately pick a target to rest.
If you block with it too, it rests something also.
As well, even if you're blocking, yes, that is absolutely true. It's a great card. I would recommend it to anyone playing blue-green, especially if you have trouble with flying. This is one of my few flyers in the deck, if any others. I play 3 Thomas. When she enters the field, she draws a card, and I can also sack her off to deal 200. Pretty familiar card.
Did you feel that you needed to go up on her?
I don't necessarily feel like I need more. If I had empty room in the deck, I wouldn't mind playing a 4th one. But I don't think I need more of her to win.
Okay.
A few people told me this was a bad idea and I should take it out, but I don't see why not. Melfi, most people know her. She always comes in clutch. She has the quick cast, and then if my opponent's played, I believe if it's the 2nd or more card, it prevents all damage from X Resonator. Also taps to produce any color stone. She's a 3/6, so there's just a few things that it takes a bit to get rid of her. I've seen someone sack off 3 cats, all the cats I play, just to get rid of one of my Melfis. So I think she's absolutely value, and she helps out with the mana ramp. Especially it helps out because I can look into more variety when siding if I absolutely wanted to. And then last but not least, one of my other favorite cards, Flute Water Dragon. I think it may be everyone's favorite card at this point. Anyone who plays blue and doesn't play this card is absolutely insane. It's a 1/4 dragon. Pretty much I can tap my little sweet angel over here to get a stone instead of tapping my resonator. I'm sorry, my J ruler. And it has a seal of 5, which would make it into then a 5/8 because he gains a 4/4 boost, and then he gets flying as well. So I don't see why anyone wouldn't play the Flute Water Dragon if you're playing blue in your deck at all. It's just a great card, and it saves you from using your ruler for things so simple as tapping for stone. When it comes to my stones, I play 4 deep woods, blue greens. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the stone lineup exactly as it is right now. I do like at least the 4 blue greens. I definitely did struggle getting my green when I needed it on occasion. I also play 4 light vapors, so that's the blue white. I may go down on these by 1 just because on occasion I found myself seeing too much white, but I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it because I do play a decent amount of white cards. Dawns I also need as well. I play 1 time altering magic stone, taps to produce blue, or I can banish and shuffle up to 3 cards from my graveyard into my deck. Again, a late game grind card. I found myself recently grinding a lot, so this is what we come to. And then last but not least, Kaguya's Stone of Sorrow. Pretty much I always have to pay the 3 if I want to actually keep it, because I don't play Kaguya as my J ruler.
Yeah, it goes in rested if you don't play the 3.
Yep, and if I don't, then like Pat said, then I have to pay the 3 or it comes in rested. So when it enters the field, I do get to look at the top 2 cards of my deck, and I get to sort them in any order. The positive note of this is even if I choose not to pay the 300, I still get to look at my top 2 cards. I still get to stack them however I want. So even if I'm choosing not to pay because at the moment I don't need the stone, I would not side out this card.
So for our viewers that didn't get to see what Flute does yet, what does she do?
All right, so I'm really excited to show you guys. I actually got the Uber Flute off of friends very recently. So what she does is she has Energize for 1. Her judgment is 1. She taps on her ruler side to draw a card. She's gorgeous. And then on the opposite side, pretty much when she comes into the field, all the cards that went to the graveyard come back to my hand. That doesn't count spells and chants. Those don't actually go on the field. They need to be cards that are on the field, like Resonators, Additions, and such, that have gone to the grave. Even stones, I believe, get shuffled back into the deck. Not only that, she releases all seal abilities of water spells, and then I can pay 1 blue or 2 of any to null to just flip her back at instant speed. So if you want to see her a bit closer, there you go. And then for my side deck, I play 1 Reiya. I don't see myself deactivating too often, but she does bring my J ruler back to life. When she enters the field, I get to put target Dragonoid with total cost 2 or less from graveyard into your field. Nice. Always comes in handy, and other Ancients and Dragonoids gain +2/+2. 1 Gale Force. When this card enters the field, I get to remove target Darkness Resonator from the game. I don't even need to explain why I play that one. There's my 3rd Charlotte that's going to be going into the main deck very shortly. Bear Magic. Usually just the 3rd one, because if you find a deck that's very Resonator heavy, especially Resonators that are a bit larger than what your Resonators can handle at the time, definitely you side in the 3rd one, because sometimes it is needed. Lumia's Purification. Destroy target rested non-magic stone card, and it does have Remnant, so siding just 1 is almost like siding in 2, because after it's in the grave I can use it at any time as long as I have the proper mana. And then Vanish. I can quick cast it in to cancel target spell. It's actually great. I can use it even when you're summoning your Resonators because it doesn't specify chant. It's just a spell. So a lot of Resonator heavy decks that you find yourself having trouble stopping them coming into play itself, this card definitely helps with canceling that off, and it works with other spells as well. And then there's Arla, the Lightwing. Pretty much other J Resonators that you control gain flying and barrier. I can tap this card to deal 100 damage to target, I believe it's attacking J Resonators. And then 1 white, and tap it to destroy target addition or Regalia. And then the 3 white to destroy, and tap to destroy target J/Resonator with flying. Again, another card that I side in when I find myself against flying decks that I can't really do much about, or when I find decks that target my stuff a bit too much, beyond my comfort. I'll just put that in.
And it destroys additions.
Yes, it does, and it helps out with that addition issue that we were talking about earlier. And this is Shu Wujing, I believe it is, unless I'm saying that all wrong. Did I say that right?
I don't know. It's how you pronounce it. I have no idea. Shuijin.
I guess. Well, he works. He boosts. Let me see. Cards named.
He makes chance cost, I believe, 2 more. No, 1
No,
more.
it makes it cost 1 more. But I do know that if you control the Sun Wukong, which I don't, the card gains +2/+2 in precision, which would be great. But I mainly use it for the extra cost to my opponent.
Yes, it's good for control decks that play a lot of chance. It makes their turns a lot less valuable.
Use up their mana. Pretty much is the concept. And then here, Amateur's Foresight, I believe it is. Prevent all damage that would be dealt by J/Resonators this turn. You don't even know how many times my opponent will load up the field, a bunch of swiftness, and one of these sided in absolutely just kind of like kicks them in the tush and makes them take a seat, and they just like pass turn immediately. It's alright, because then you play that, the one that unrests theirs, or rests theirs and unrests yours. And then I also play in this side 2 Guardians of the Portal. It rests another Resonator that I control, and the card gains +1/+1. I mainly sided this card in case I found myself having trouble tapping my Glistening. It didn't actually happen, so I may be taking the Guardian out. I don't know exactly what I'll do right now, but for now it looks like she may be leaving. There's other cards that can give a bit more value, and I've found plenty of ways to tap my Glistening. So I'm not sure if I need this anymore, but it was a very helpful card, especially when it came to boosting other Resonators.
Alright, so was there anything that you're like indefinitely changing besides like the Charlotte that's going in? Has your results been pretty decent? Good or bad matchups? Any questions?
Well, I did play against a Fox deck yesterday, and my deck did really, really well. So I may just take out some... I may make some minor changes. I'm not sure exactly what I'll be doing soon.
Yeah, especially with there's a lot of new blue cards coming out, so be prepared for next set.
Yes, absolutely. I do realize that there's some cards like Will of the Wisp that I may be able to just side versus main, and that'll leave up some room for some other cards that I had my eye on. I have been looking a lot at the newer cards lately.
Alright, well, I would like to thank Katherine for showing us her Flute build that she's been preemptively testing with over and over and over and over again, and it seems like it's getting more and more consistent for you. So, have anything else to say to the viewers before we farewell this?
Not really, but just keep the flute puns coming.
Flute puns. Yeah, well, again, I'd like to thank her for showing us her deck list. Stay tuned for more deck profiles and matches and more strategies. We're going to be kicking more videos up after this coming week when we're going to get ourselves into, third gear and just start shoveling down some more videos for YouTube. So I would like everyone to stay tuned for more videos from Regalia and Chill. Thank you.